Hi, greetings to everybody and welcome back to our channel Film Express Racing Pigeons. Joining us this episode is a nurse from University of Texas, Mr. Sherwin Tolentino. Good afternoon, sir. So here tonight he will be giving us some information about racing pigeons, how he got involved with this sports, this hobby, and he will also give us some insights about the one Loft race racing. So how did you start?
Oh, I started it as a kid, like anybody else. We have a neighbor that has birds, and I got fascinated how they would leave the loft and fly around and come back. So that makes me wonder how they do that. Comparing when I had birds prior to having pigeons, I got them loose one time and they never came back. So I was wondering what's the mystery behind the pigeons.
What's the concept about it?
So it's amazing. It's just
Life.
amazing. Well, I used to when I first came here in the U.S., I used to live in an apartment, so obviously I cannot have birds, and I had birds all my life when I was a kid. So it seems like there's something missing. You got a job, you got a house, you got whatever you like, but it seems like there's still something missing, and I thought that it was it.
Because back in the Philippines,
yeah, we do birds.
as a young kid, you already
Yeah, as a young
had-
kid, so growing up, it just completes the whole thing. It's like having a dog. You have growing up having a dog, and when we never had a dog, it seems like the household is not complete.
So how did you start here in the U.S. like a fancier? How did you begin again?
I thought, when I started birds here in the U.S., there's no such thing as raising pigeons. It seems
You thought
like-
it's only in the Philippines?
Yeah, so you would ask your coworkers, you bring that up and all of that, and nobody's aware of it. So I thought there's no such thing here in the U.S. And then when I start searching on Google and all of that, so happened that there's a club in San Antonio.
And also-
There's information about the club, the Woodlawn. Our club was a Woodlawn Racing Pigeon Club, and it so happened that there's info
Okay.
online, and so there's the numbers of the members there, the president, the officers of the club. So I contacted one of them. It so happened that he's just like 3 miles away from
You were a member of the club.
Yeah, I flew 6 years with Woodlawn. So that was sometime in 2011, and all the way to 16. Yeah, and then that's the time where I was still single back then, and then I got married, and then I had a baby, and there's just the three of us at home, and I would have to, everybody knows that. I mean, whoever's like flying with the club, and it's, it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of work.
A lot of gas.
A lot of gas. That's true. A lot of expenses too. So, I would miss. I would be missing. Club meetings because I can't go. You can't be carrying an infant or loading birds, and you're carrying an infant to the club.
You started in the club race,
Yes, I flew for 6 years.
and now, because of the nature of your job, obviously he is a nurse. We can see that he works in the University of Texas,
Yeah.
right?
I'm,
And here
I
in
work
San
in the
Antonio,
ER.
he works in the ER. So how we all know how busy his job could be, and that is why now he is now with the One Loft race. I would like to ask Sherwin here to educate us. What is the concept about the One Loft race?
So the One Love race is pretty much all about birds, and the only part where the fanciers do is to have their selection of their breeders, and just to breed them healthy. And after that, it goes to the loft manager. Compared to a club racing, which is, I think that's where actually the real fanciers really fly, because that's where you can, that's where all the work and the maneuvering for your results comes from the fancier.
Yeah.
I would say like a 60%. A good fancier a good fancier can win a mediocre bird versus you have the best bird. You may have the best bird, but you don't know how to handle the birds. Then it don't matter. You can't win over a better fancier. But that doesn't happen in a one love. You have a better bird, and as long as you breed them healthy, there you go. I mean, that's it.
So basically, I will breed my birds, and once they know how to eat by themselves,
Yeah, you send them out when they're 6 weeks old or older. It depends how the fanciers do it, but you send them when they're 6 weeks or as soon as when they start eating. Um, and basically, one loft is like one loft, one big loft with a bunch of birds in there that has different owners. So you pay perch fee, which pays for the board and lodging of your birds, the expense for the food, the training, like the supplements that the birds is gonna consume. And after 100-mile 100-mile toss, then that's your activation. That's where the bird gets activated, and that becomes the pot money for the winners.
and different one love has different rules.
Different rules and different prices. There's a high roller, there's a average,
Yeah.
and there's like a cheaper one loft. There's our bigger one loft that has thousands of birds, and there's like hundreds. More.
So in a nutshell, in club racing, you train your own birds,
You train your own birds, and you
spend gas. But,
yeah,
you
you
know,
do
your
you
own.
do you do you do it your own, and then you have like a different location. So you could be a short end, you could be a long end of the club. 350 miles could be 360 miles for me, and 320 miles for you.
That would be the
So
big
there's a gap in there.
gap.
There's there's I would say there's odds. There's like bigger odds, but and then it also depends. Only few in clubs. There's only few members that fly it. So you're competing with what on average nowadays is 8 members, 9 members or so.
So obviously, Sherwin, if you will be given an opportunity to go back in club racing, would you go back to club
Oh
racing?
yes, definitely. My loft is actually set up for I have a stock hen on the left, stock loft cock on the right side.
So
in
you
the
don't
middle.
combine them.
No, no. And then there's my breeding pens over there. I got 8 breeding pens over there. And this part right here is my racing. There's the training basket right there. It's ready.
So aside
It's ready
from
for a club racing whenever my daughter gets a little bit older.
the knowledge that he provided to us about the one love race, he will also be sharing to us how he prepares his breeders, right? How you prepare them to before the breeding season, and what month do you prefer breeding?
Uh,
Pairing them.
oh, pairing them. Yeah. I always try to catch the. My goal is always to stop breeding by June. All of my birds are supposed to be all are supposed to be back on the stock loft by June 1st. The reason being is it's summer, and that's the time where it's family time. That's where you go on vacation because it's summer for the kids. And um, on top of that one, it's too hot here in Texas to breed that time anyway.
It
So
could
even
be
my
really hot
yeah
in
even
here.
my yearling races that I send, I breed them in April. And by the time June 1st, I'm all done. My program is I don't do like the whole cleansing preparation before breeding and all of that. I just keep them healthy all year. I don't even quarantine. I don't even have a quarantine loft. As soon as I acquire birds, I just throw them in there, or get something back from the one loft. I just throw it in my loft. I mean, I had I had a few sick birds and in the past, but the more you do that, the more you get careless with those kind of things, the more you have a better, healthier birds, because the weak ones dies, and there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
I don't do that. And then as far as like conditioning before breeding, I actually do the conditioning part as soon as I'm done breeding. After breeding, I deworm them right away because you cannot deworm. So, see June, right? June, they start molting in July.
Yes.
And I don't. I try to catch. See, like when you deworm, you give them dewormer today, and then you give them another dose after 10 days, right? So I try to do that before July. So as soon as I get them off of the breeding pens, because I have my first rounders, second rounders, third rounders. As soon as I get them off from the breeding pen, I go ahead and shoot some dewormer there, and then I just make a list. After 10 days, I have to deworm them again, and I try to do that before they start molting because it's not good to deworm when they're molting, or else they
Correct.
have like a ruffles. They will have like ruffles. And I don't really medicate them unless I have them. All my medications are in a pill form. If somebody gets sick or whatsoever, when they thin out after breeding or whatsoever, then that's the time I.
At least it's individually.
Yeah, and what I do is I actually observe them because being in a medical field, we know about antibiotics. The more you use it, the more it's not gonna work eventually when you actually need it. So
And
after-
the second part of this interview, he will be showing us his loft. You're gonna show us
Yeah.
your loft and his breeding
loft.
pens. And
Uh,
so tell us about your loft.
Well, used to be a couple of small shanties. I had like a couple of shanties before. I had a stock loft that's like 4x4, another 4x4 for hens, one 4x4 from cocks, and then I got like a 4x5 flying pen, and they were all like shanties. There's like 3 different areas here, and this is the biggest one that I can do here. In my
Let me
backyard.
just show how big it is. There you go. How nice and big this.
5x12 basically.
Pigeon.
Sticklebouts and Jansen's. Everybody has Jansen's. You always have to have a Jansen in your loft
Correct.
for speed. So Sticklebout from Sam Limbo, the late Sam Limbo. So just so happened that Sticklebouts did well for me, and then I got the old Jansens. I have a few Hofkins that do well. A little.
And these are all hens.
These are all hens. Yes.
There you go.
And I got a few collars in there. And there's the cocks. I have some collars there as well. Whites, reds, but those are just for fun. I breed them and I share it with friends for them to fly, see if it's gonna work out. So my breeding pen is 8 section. If you have that Taiwan style 8 compartment, this is all what it is.
Well, what is the ideal size?
A 2x2. You know how they say it's 1 square foot per bird. So if you're breeding and you'll have babies, you have 2 babies in a set. There's gonna be 4 of them. So I got 2x2 by 18, I think. 18, but this one is, I think, went all the way to 20.
What is the bloodline of this bird, Sherwin?
It's a sticklebout.
Wow.
They're big
Sticklebout
birds.
is breed for
Breed for
long distance,
for winning.
for winning.
For winning for me.
Can you show us what are the physical characteristics of Sticklebout?
Sticklebout. Well, I don't know, but even in the Philippines, if you look at those sticklebouts that are Sam Limbo, you'll see these checkers underneath the underneath the close to the tail.
And they are big birds.
They're big birds, both of them. You've handled the cock. You handled
Yeah,
the
I
hen.
held the cock and it's big.
Yeah, and they're both big, but they win for me
Wow,
all the way to 360 miles.
that is awesome. So why do you have 3 compartments? I mean, like
The hen would eat here, the cock or hen or cock would eat here, and this is the grits.
okay. So you
where I
don't
put
put
the
the grits together with.
No.
They're
I put
separate.
it separate. I put it separate, and I have a different grits before they breed. I put oyster shells, and then once they have babies, it's gonna be all red stones.
And what is the bloodline of this?
What are these anyway? Oh, hey man, this is Louis bird.
Oh, he has a Kaluluwa bloodline.
Yeah, gifted by
Shout out to
Shout out
Louis
to Louis, man. He's
Rodriguez.
a very good guy, very good fancier. Everything that he touched turns to gold.
There you go.
So
I hope he
yeah.
will let me visit his loft one day.
Yeah, I got a gift bird from him. I wanted to buy it, but he doesn't want me to pay for it. He
Well,
even pay some of the shipping.
that's a good friend, though. And what is your message to our viewers who are aspiring to be involved in this kind of hobby?
Of hobby? Well, just it depends, man. I mean, to me, I just keep it simple, keep it cheap, enjoy it as much as you can. Make a lot of friends, not enemies, and don't. The more you spend, the more you get frustrated. Because if you spend too much and you're not winning, that's when frustration and that's where all the the envy to other fanciers comes in,
Correct.
and that's what happens, and that's a common thing that I see, like they become bitter, they become jealous, and you're not gonna be happy with that.
Well, thank you so much for the
Yeah, thank
opportunity.
you, man.
Thank you.
Thanks.